Obviously, it's not all about winning. So which races are best avoided?
Lord Doula on Twitter asks, can you do a video highlighting how you point out races to avoid maybe, or add a section about that in the guide?
Okay, so very important question there from Lord Doula, because it's not just about earning, it's about avoiding losing as well. So there are races on a day you might want to give less attention or possibly even completely avoid altogether. Only trouble with answering this question is it's quite open-ended because it depends on what your preferred style is within the markets. Now, for those of you that prefer to scalp, it's going to be very different races to avoid and focus on to those that just prefer to have a swing trade within the market. And that centres around your own awareness, mentality, personality, all the kind of things that you prefer and don't prefer. Now, if that's quite confusing to you right now, what I'm trying to say is if you're a person who can't sit on your hands, can't be patient, can't be really disciplined, you might want something that's more active within the market, and so you're probably going to be find more success or find that first success easier with scalping than you are with swing trading, because obviously swing trading is taking a larger price movement within the market, and for that to happen sometimes you need to wait. You need to sit there and let the actual move within the market develop. If you don't let the move within the market develop, then how the hell do you expect to make profit from swing trade? You know, these things don't necessarily happen in seconds. So if you're extremely impatient, you're going to find swing trading a little bit harder, and that's what a lot of people do, and that's why I think most people generally find scalping the horse racing markets that little bit easier. So the races to avoid depends on your preferred method. So I'll talk about both of them very quickly now, and talk about a few strengths and weaknesses, and then what you need to do is fit yourself into that situation and actually sort of realise and be aware of what suits you best and what doesn't, and then you can work out what to avoid and what not to avoid. So a scalping type preferred method, you're going to need high turnover, maybe more interested in the actual race itself, you know, there's going to be more media coverage maybe, but there's going to be high turnover volumes within the market, because that's what it's all about. That's the nature of scalping. You're just trying to take a small little scalp in price, or maybe the price isn't even going to move and you're going to plug your orders on either side of the book, get them both filled for a small profit, and then do that consistently. So that's what scalping's about. It's very short term, but with that as well you need to be quite reactional. You need to be able to scratch orders, you need to be able to cancel out losses if it does bounce against you. Alternatively, at the other end of the spectrum, and obviously there is that middle ground as well as you develop over time, but at the other end of the spectrum you need to be patient, like I was saying. So if you're looking for a swing trade and you're thinking this price is going to shift significantly, I'm going to enter my position at maybe, I don't know, 5.0, and hopefully I'm going to get out around about 4.0, which would be quite a big move. You're going to need to be patient. You're going to need to stop that impulsiveness and dive in. So you need to find a situation where the market's actually going to move, as opposed to a highly liquid market, which is very stable and the prices are going to stay around the same, because otherwise you're going to be sitting there with your swing trade for a long time waiting. So generally, as a rule of thumb, the swing markets, or the markets that move more significantly, you see these big shifts and spikes and crazy movements, are the lower quality events. They're the ones where there's less turnover and there's more movement within the market. There might be less runners, so like a 3-horse race, you'd expect the prices to move around a lot more than sort of a 15-horse cavalry charge, where you see, you know, the prices may move in them still, obviously, in gambles and stuff, but they'll move a little bit slower, as opposed to like a 4-horse race. So number of runners, the amount of volume, activity, the time of day, all sorts of things can come into it. So I mean, if you think about a horse race that's like the last race of the day in the summer, when they finish at like, I don't know, like 9:30 at night or whatever, there's not everybody that bets sitting watching their markets, so their markets are going to be less liquid, more chance for a move, it's going to be a little bit more volatile and a bit crazy, and you're probably going to be looking to take a bigger chunk out of the market because you're managing your risk. I mean, you don't want to be looking for 1 tick's profit when the price could bounce around 5 or 10 ticks in a range. So I personally don't think you have to avoid anything really, you just need to cater and adapt your style. But what I am saying is I'm very aware of people starting out, people learning. When you start, you can't necessarily just go, oh okay, I'm just gonna sort of like change modes, as it were. I'm gonna change from like sprinting mode to long distance marathon running mode. You can't easily do that when you're not as experienced. So work out what suits you most, focus on that, focus on the strengths, build on them, and then, you know, as you understand what your weaknesses are, in theory it should become a little bit easier. But as they say, you know, the more you learn, the more you earn. So spend that time learning, but don't learn your lessons in blood, as it were, as the saying goes. If you know that you're not very patient and you're not very good at swing trading, then you know you don't want to focus on those volatile markets, and you just certainly don't want to be trying to scalp them either. But just watch them and learn from them rather than losing money in the process.